Let's talk Tanya for the 22nd of Elul of a leap year. In yesterday's Tanya, we explained that Hashem's tzedakah takes two forms. There is the tzedakah, the kindness that He gives us over here in this world until Mashiach comes, which is memali kol almin, that is the finite limited energy which enters our world. And then there is the ultimate tzedakah, which is what we will experience when Mashiach comes, the sovev kol almin, the infinite light of God, which will be revealed over here in the world at that time. Which is interesting, because in general, we're talking about the system of creation, which is comprised of many different worlds, many different levels. There are the higher levels and the lower levels. And what makes a higher level is that it is a keli, it is able to contain and tolerate a higher level of divinity, higher level of energy. Lower levels can tolerate less. We are the lowest world. And here we're saying that when Mashiach comes, the highest infinite light will be revealed over here in this world. Now, how is that possible? And the answer is that all of that this concept, this idea, a higher world is, can receive more and a lower world can receive less. That's all when we're talking about Mamala Kol Almin. We're talking about the finite light of God. But we're talking here about Sovev Kol Almin, the infinite light of God. The highest world isn't a container for it. The highest world is 100% completely removed from that kind of level. So we can't say our world is less capable of receiving that light than a higher world. It's infinite, and because God is infinite, He can cause that light to shine anywhere. And it isn't surprising that it should be over here in this world, because after all, this is the world which God desired in the first place. All of creation is here because of our world. Now, both of these levels of tzedakah are caused through our tzedakah. We know that everything that happens above is activated by us below. When we give tzedakah down here, so we cause that limited tzedakah, that limited energy which we get over here in this world until Mashiach comes, and we're also causing and activating that ultimate tzedakah which will happen when Mashiach comes. And with this we can understand the pasuk, the verse with which we started this chapter, which we asked a few questions on, L'chol tichla ra'isi kates rechava mitzvascha miyoid, which translates literally as, for every goal I have seen an end, but your mitzvah is very wide. And if you remember, we asked three questions. What does it mean your mitzvah is very wide? What does it mean your mitzvah should be your mitzvahs? And what does it mean that it's wide? And what is the very adding over here? So one question we already answered, which is your mitzvah is tzedakah, because that is the mitzvah that God does constantly. He's constantly giving energy to all of creation. So the mitzvah of tzedakah is rechava, is wide. It is a wide container which can contain a lot. How much can it contain? Me'oid, very, meaning even the infinite light of God, which will be revealed when Mashiach comes, the container for that we are creating through giving tzedakah today. Creating tzedakah, somehow or other, creates a container which allows us to experience the revelation of God's infinite light. And now let's go back to the beginning of the verse. L'chol tichla ra'isi kates, to every goal I've seen an end. We're translating the word tichla as goal, but the word tichla can also mean longing, as in kleis hanefesh. For every longing I've seen an end, as opposed to mitzvascha, God's mitzvah, which is very wide. What are we talking about over here? Longing is where that happens in Gan Eden. The soul goes up after it passes on from this world. And we know Gan Eden is not a single level. There's an infinite amount of levels in Gan Eden, and a soul is in a constant state of ascendancy. Every day the soul is moving higher up in Gan Eden. And then on a yard site, on the soul's yard site, it experiences a quantum leap. And why is that? Because there's a finite level of light in Gan Eden, so therefore there's all of these levels. Now, every time a soul arrives at a certain level, it's longing to reach the level beyond that. When it reaches the level beyond that, it's in a constant state of longing, which is why our sages tell us that we have no rest, not in this world and also not in the next world, because the next world also we're constantly moving higher and higher and higher. L'chol tichla, for all the longing in Gan Eden ra'isi kates I've seen an end, because all of that is the finite light of God. But rechava mitzvascha miyoid, through tzedakah, we arrive at a place of the infinite. There is no more longing, because now we are accessing the infinite light of God. And finally, when Mashiach comes, we have that infinite light. There is no more longing, and we have menucha. We have complete rest. With this, we have concluded this chapter of Tanya. Tomorrow, we start a new chapter on the topic of Avas Hashem, love for Hashem.